Yesterday, we talked about the Cairo working. 3 days in a hotel room. A voice that identified itself as I was. The text that became the foundation of an entire religious movement. Aleister Crowley wrote it all down. Crowley published it. Crowley spent the rest of his life explaining it. Crowley became a legend. There is one problem with that story. Crowley didn't initiate the Cairo working. His wife did. Her name was Rose Kelly. She was not an occultist. She had no magical training. She had no interest in her husband's esoteric work. And she was the first person to say that something was waiting for them in that hotel room. She pointed to the exact stele in a museum she had never visited. She entered trance states and delivered messages she had no frame of reference to construct. She opened the door that Crowley walked through, and then she disappeared from history. Committed to an asylum, abandoned, dead in obscurity, while the religion she helped birth was already spreading across 2 continents. This is Missing Author Monday, and this week we are talking about the woman without whom Aleister Crowley might have remained a footnote. This is the story of Rose Kelly. Section 1. Who she was. Rose Kelly was born in 1874, the daughter of a Church of England clergyman. Her brother was Gerald Kelly, who would go on to become president of the Royal Academy of Arts, one of the most prestigious positions in British painting. She was educated, socially connected, and by all accounts charming. She was also, by 1903, in a difficult position. She had been in an unhappy relationship and was facing pressure to marry a man she did not want to marry. Aleister Crowley was a family acquaintance. The story that has come down through their correspondence and Crowley's own memoirs is that Rose came to him with a proposition, a marriage of convenience. Marry her to get her out of the situation she was in. Then they would quietly arrange an annulment or divorce once the immediate crisis had passed. Crowley agreed. Then something shifted. He fell genuinely in love with her. They married in August 1903. By early 1904, they were on their honeymoon in Cairo. Section 2. The Hotel Room. Crowley was not idle in Cairo. He was performing ceremonial workings, ritual invocations, the kind of systematic magical practice he had developed over years in the Golden Dawn and afterward. He was, in his own terms, working. Rose was not part of that work. She sat nearby sometimes. She did not participate. Then, in late March 1904, she started saying strange things. "They are waiting for you. They are waiting for you." Crowley's initial response was skepticism. His wife had no magical knowledge. She did not know the terminology, the entities, the symbolic architecture he had spent years studying. If something was trying to communicate through her, he needed to verify it. He was not the kind of man who accepted experiences at face value. He tested her. He showed her images from books of Egyptian mythology. He asked her to identify the entity that was trying to reach him. She pointed to an image. He checked it. Wrong. He tried again with different images. He reformulated the questions, approaching the problem the way he would approach any ritual verification, looking for internal consistency, for knowledge she could not have fabricated. She kept pointing to the same cluster of associations. Horus, the hawk-headed deity, the solar current. He took her to the Bulak Museum in Cairo. He walked her through the collection without guiding her. She stopped in front of a painted wooden funeral stele, a funerary tablet from ancient Egypt, probably around 680 BC. She said, "This is it." The stele depicted Ra-Hur-Khuit, a form of Horus. It was catalog number 666. Crowley had not told her the number. He had not guided her to the exhibit. She had never been in the museum before. He had the stele's text translated. He went back to the hotel room, and on April 8, 1904, at exactly noon, he sat down in a specific chair, facing a specific direction, and listened. Rose did not dictate the book of the law. What she did was more fundamental. She opened the channel. She identified the entity. She did the verification work that allowed Crowley to take the subsequent 3 days seriously. Without Rose Kelly in that museum, there is no Cairo working. There is no Book of the Law. There is no thelema. Section 3. What happened after? They returned to England. Rose gave birth to their daughter in 1904, a girl Crowley named Nuima Eatur Hecate Sappho Jezebel Lilith. The child, called Lilith, died of typhoid fever in Rangoon in 1906. She was 11 months old. That is where the record of Rose starts to get darker. Crowley's lifestyle was not compatible with grief. He traveled constantly. He pursued his magical work with the relentless focus of someone who believed he had been given a cosmic commission. He was often absent. When he was present, he was not easy to live with. He had other relationships. He had obsessions that consumed him entirely and left little room for the people around him. Rose began drinking. By 1909, the marriage was effectively over. Crowley had her diagnosed with alcoholism and had her committed to an institution. The divorce was finalized in 1909. He did not contest the commitment. He moved on. The record of Rose Kelly after that point is thin. She is mentioned occasionally in accounts of Crowley's life as a background figure, the wife, the one who pointed to the stealing, a brief notation before the narrative returns to him. She died in 1932 in a workhouse in London. While she was dying in a workhouse, thelema was spreading. The Book of the Law was in print. Crowley was infamous across 2 continents. The religion whose founding event she had initiated was acquiring temples, practitioners, serious scholars. She died with no money, no recognition, and no place in the story. Section 4. The question. Here is the question that serious Crowley scholars have not fully answered. What did Rose actually experience in Cairo? There are 3 possibilities, and none of them are comfortable. The first possibility is that she was genuinely channeling something, that whatever reached out through the Cairo working chose to reach out through her, not through Crowley, and that Crowley spent the rest of his life receiving credit for an initiation it was given to his wife first. The second possibility is that she was experiencing a psychological break, something that the subsequent alcoholism and institutionalization might support, and that Crowley, instead of getting her help, used what she was experiencing as raw material for a religious text and then abandoned her when she was no longer useful. The third possibility is somewhere between those two, that Rose experienced something real, and that the experience cost her everything, and that the system built on what she opened never once looked back to consider what it had taken from her. Crowley called her his Scarlet Woman. The first Scarlet Woman, the one who received the first contact. She died in a workhouse. Make of that what you will. The Book of the Law is still in print. Thelema still has practitioners worldwide, and Rose Kelly is a footnote in her own husband's biography. That is the story of the woman who heard the voice first. Tomorrow, we go into the actual text she helped bring into the world. The terrifying text's Tuesday entry for Crowley Week is the Book of the Law itself, and we are going to look at the specific passages that even Crowley admitted he did not understand, the lines that disturbed him, the verses he spent decades trying to interpret. There is a section in chapter 3 that reads like a transmission from something that hates humanity. Crowley wrote it down. He did not want to publish it. We will read it tomorrow.